Too many men talk too much and are still ignored. They explain themselves endlessly, trying to be liked only to be dismissed. They try to appear kind and are mistaken for weak. If you're tired of being underestimated, overlooked, or disrespected, if you want people to sense your power before you ever speak, then this video will reveal how to command fear and respect without saying a word. They say words are power, but the wise know words are dangerous. They expose your thoughts. They betray your intentions. They can be twisted, misunderstood, or used against you. That is why the truly powerful man learns to speak with something far more reliable: silence and posture. You see, before your mouth opens, your body has already made 1,000 declarations. The way you carry your shoulders, the calm in your eyes, the way your chin holds the air around it, these are the proclamations of power. They are read by all, and they never lie. Think of the lion. The lion does not roar when it walks. It doesn't need to. Its very stride tells the savannah, I do not chase. I wait. The lion commands respect not by noise, but by posture, by a slow, deliberate, confident movement. It knows what it is. It doesn't perform. If you want to command fear and respect without speaking, start by adjusting the conversation your body is already having with the world. The weak man slouches. He walks fast, as if apologizing for taking up space. His eyes dart quickly. He nods too much. He smiles too quickly. This is the language of submission, and the world reads it instantly. The powerful man does the opposite. His spine is straight, not stiff. His chin is level, not arrogant. His shoulders roll back not to appear large, but because they are unburdened by insecurity. He moves slowly, not lazily, but with deliberation. His face is calm, and he does not seek validation from expressions of approval. He does not overreact. He does not fidget. Every gesture he makes feels earned, intentional, measured. When he looks at someone, he does not blink rapidly or break eye contact unless he chooses to. And when he does speak, if he speaks, it is after a pause, not a reaction. These pauses are not accidental. They are designed. They are power. Understand this: people fear what they do not understand, and a man whose body language contradicts their expectations is a mystery, and therefore a threat. If you refuse to smile when most would, if you do not react when most would panic, if you maintain stillness while others are animated, they begin to wonder what you know that they don't, and that is the birthplace of both fear and respect. A man who is calm under pressure is either foolish or extremely dangerous. The wise assume the latter. Walk into a room and say nothing, but let your presence be undeniable. Do not scan the room like prey, observe it like a predator. Do not rush to greet everyone, allow them to greet you. Stand with your weight evenly distributed. Do not lean. Leaning is reaching. Reaching is need, and need is weakness. Own the space you occupy as if it belongs to you, because if you do not, no one will believe it does. Even your hands have their own vocabulary. The hands of the uncertain twitch, grasp, or hide. The hands of the assured rest openly or move slowly. They do not gesture. They do not fill the air with confusion. They punctuate meaning when necessary and remain still when silence speaks loud enough. Your face is a canvas of authority or of insecurity. Control it. Learn the power of a neutral expression. Not cold, not angry, just unreadable. When someone insults you, let your expression remain unchanged. This terrifies them, because they expect a reaction. They expect an emotional display, some confirmation that they've penetrated your armor. When they see nothing, they realize they've struck iron. In that moment, you've said nothing. And yet, you've told them everything. There is a reason kings wore crowns and robes. Not just for vanity, but for visual control. Symbols of power were always used to reinforce the perception of control. You must become your own symbol. The way you enter a room, the way you stand, the way your eyes scan. These are your crown, your scepter, your throne. Do not speak like a king. Appear like one, and others will speak of you as such. You must also learn to embrace stillness, not the stillness of laziness, but the stillness of a coiled serpent. Tension disguised in calm. The sense that, though you are doing nothing, you could do everything. This is the language of dominance, the unspoken command that others dare not challenge. It is not enough to avoid weakness. You must project strength. Silence is not passive, it is aggressive, and when mastered, it will dominate every word spoken around you. Your silence becomes a mirror in which others reflect their own fear, doubt, and insecurity. And you, still unreadable, remain untouchable. There is a silent war happening every day, in every room you enter. It is not fought with weapons, it is fought with presence. The man who understands space, who controls space, controls the outcome, controls perception, controls others. Power is not about words, it is not about noise. It is about who dares to take up space without asking permission. Most men shrink themselves to avoid conflict. They fold into corners. They speak from edges. They wait to be invited. They apologize with their body, their movement, even their breath. But a prince, no, a ruler, he does not wait. He takes what is not offered. He expands into space until there is no doubt who owns the air. Do not confuse this with arrogance. This is not a performance. This is the architecture of dominance. When you walk into a room, you are entering a chessboard. The positions you take, where you stand, where you sit, how you move, these are your opening moves. Sit in the center, and you claim the crown. Sit at the edge, and you beg for relevance. If you must stand, do not lean against walls like a forgotten painting. Position yourself where eyes must pass over you again and again. Become a landmark. The one who owns the middle controls the game. Even your stillness can mark territory. The man who fidgets, who shifts, who taps his foot, he tells the world, I am not settled here. I am waiting to be dismissed. But the man who stands without movement tells a different story. He tells the room, I am not leaving. I belong here more than anyone else. There is also a science to distance. Those who do not respect their own space will never have it respected by others. If you allow people to crowd you, to invade your perimeter, to touch you without thought, then you have already surrendered your throne. Your space is sacred. Guard it with calm resolve, not by force, but by refusal. Step back without apology. Stand straighter instead of louder. Adjust your stance as if you were shifting continents beneath your feet. This is how you draw invisible lines of control. This is how you command obedience without ever raising your voice. Now, listen carefully, because this is where fools fail and leaders rise. Never allow your space to be dictated by reaction. Most people move because of others. They adjust themselves to be liked, to be accepted, to be safe. But the powerful man moves by design, not emotion. When he enters a room, he does not float like a feather. He anchors like stone. His presence is not whimsical. It is strategic. He will choose a position with purpose, near the exits if he must leave without notice. Facing the room so no threat is unseen, never with his back exposed unless surrounded by the loyal. These are not accidents. These are calculations. Because power is a game of angles, not just words. And yet, here lies the paradox. The man who truly owns space does not seem to try. He does not announce it. He does not exaggerate. In fact, he often does less. But what he does is exact. Every motion, every step, every lean, every pause, measured like a military campaign. He does not chase the room. The room organizes itself around him. Others feel it. They don't know why, but they make way for him. They wait for him to speak. They adjust their position subtly to align with his. He is the sun around which lesser planets rotate, and they do it willingly, not because he asked, but because he dared to remain still when others scrambled for relevance. When he walks as if he owns the ground, not because he wants to be seen, but because he knows where he's going. His footsteps are not noise. They are punctuation marks. He doesn't rush. Rushing is for the desperate. He doesn't trail. Trailing is for the forgotten. He moves through the world like a man who has already won the conversation, already claimed the territory, already written the ending before the scene begins. This kind of control is not taught. It is remembered, because it was once yours. Before the world told you to be smaller, quieter, more agreeable. Before they told you not to take up too much space. But here, now, in this moment, you will reclaim it. Not with shouting, not with argument, but with sheer presence, with your posture, with how you enter, how you remain, how you never retreat from your rightful place in the room. There is a reason the wisest men in history said the least. Silence is not emptiness. It is not weakness. It is not absence. It is strategy. A well-timed silence is more terrifying than a well-aimed insult, more powerful than a carefully crafted argument, because silence leaves no trail. It cannot be quoted, it cannot be misused, and it cannot be outplayed. The modern world worships noise. Men rush to speak, to react, to fill the void. But in doing so, they reveal themselves. They show their fears, their need for approval, their insecurity. The man who cannot hold his tongue exposes his neck. He shows the enemy where to strike. But the man who embraces silence conceals his blade. He becomes unreadable, unknowable, unpredictable. And what people cannot predict, they begin to fear. Silence shifts the power dynamic in any room. In conversation, it turns the talkative into the desperate. They scramble to fill the void you've left, revealing more than they intended. The longer you remain silent, the more they reveal their position, their motives, their weaknesses. You've revealed nothing. You've risked nothing. You've remained in control. People are unnerved by silence. They will mistake it for judgment, for wisdom, for power. Sometimes all three. They will project meaning onto your stillness because the human mind cannot stand an empty canvas. If you do not explain yourself, they will assume your reasons are greater than they can comprehend. That is your advantage. That is your shield. Strategic silence is not passive. It is not shyness. It is an offensive weapon. It forces others to guess, to wonder, to hesitate, and hesitation is the beginning of control. When someone provokes you, they expect noise, anger, defensiveness. They want to see the mask slip. But when you respond with silence, when your face remains calm and your lips sealed, they are left in confusion. They don't know if you're plotting, if you're dismissing them, or if you simply do not care. And in that uncertainty, they lose their footing. Silence after insult is not surrender. It is dominance. It tells the aggressor that they are not worthy of your emotion, that their words carry no weight, that you are above the game they are trying to play. You remain on the throne while they dance foolishly for your attention. Use silence in moments of confrontation, not as escape, but as signal. When you pause before speaking, even for a moment, the room holds its breath. They wait. They listen. They brace. Because silence before speech suggests that what follows has been measured, calculated, sharpened. It is the silence of the blade being drawn slowly from its sheath. Even among allies, silence commands attention. When others shout ideas, push opinions, speak over one another to be heard, be the one who waits, the one who listens, the one who, when he finally speaks, forces the entire room to shift direction. Not because you talk the most, but because you talk the least. Control the pace of your words. The man who speaks too quickly is trying to keep up. The man who pauses when he chooses, who uses silence not as a mistake, but as punctuation. He dictates the rhythm of the conversation. Others adjust to him. They lean in. They try to match his gravity. There is silence in the body as well, a still gaze, a relaxed posture, a motionless stance. These are not passive states. These are statements of power. The man who can remain still while others move restlessly creates an invisible wall around himself. a force field of calm, unshakable presence. It makes him look like a man who knows more than he says, and that is always more powerful than saying more than you know. Silence during victory is another art. Never boast. Never explain how you succeeded. Let them guess. Let them wonder what advantage you saw that they missed. When your enemies ask, "How did he do it?" and no answer is given, their minds fill the silence with imagination, and imagination is far more frightening than the truth. But the most powerful silence is the one that speaks when words would betray you. When others plead for an explanation, and you give them none. When they demand to know what you think, and you remain unmoved. When they beg for your reaction, and you offer only stillness. That is how you build a legend. That is how fear and respect are born, not from what you say, but from what you withhold. Those who are addicted to speech will never understand this kind of power. They crave attention. They bleed information. But the one who is willing to sit in silence while the world reveals itself. He is already 10 steps ahead, hidden in plain sight, untouchable, unreadable, unforgettable. Every battlefield has its armor, and in the theater of power your armor is not made of steel. It is woven into fabric, carved into leather, sharpened through motion. The weak dress to express, the powerful dress to impose. If your appearance does not make a statement before you speak, you are already at a disadvantage. You are already asking for attention rather than commanding it. Understand this: people form judgments within seconds. They do not wait for your story. They do not care for your intentions. They see, and they decide. Your clothing, your grooming, your posture. These are not personal choices. They are tools, weapons. They either work for you, or they betray you. The man who dresses with purpose knows the battlefield he is walking into. He dresses not to fit in, but to make others adjust. He wears sharp lines and dark tones not for fashion, but for focus. Every color is selected. Every layer is calculated. He knows how to blend in when needed, and how to stand out when it serves him. He never looks like he needs validation. He looks like he's already won it. Even the fit of his clothing matters. Not too tight, not too loose. Precision. The impression he gives is one of control. He is not flashy. He is not trying to appear rich. That is for the insecure. He is trying to appear untouchable. Sharp, unbothered, as if he could disappear into shadow or emerge from it. Grooming is discipline. If your beard is wild, your hair unkempt, your hands unclean, you reveal your mind before you speak. You tell the world you are unguarded, unready, unfocused. But when every detail is refined, even your enemies hesitate. They understand they are not dealing with a man. They are dealing with a standard. Now, appearance is only the beginning. The most terrifying predator is not loud. It is smooth. It glides across the earth. Its body wastes no energy. It moves with intention. The same is true for you. Do not move unless it serves a purpose. Do not fidget. Do not scramble. Do not walk as if chased by ghosts. Move like someone who carries something sacred, yourself. Each step must be firm but not heavy. Your gait must not scream, it must suggest. Your path should look inevitable. The man who walks without urgency but with clarity radiates control. He's not lost. He's not late. He's not nervous. He is aligned with time, and therefore above it. His body says, "I belong exactly where I am, and I move only when I choose." Even your turns, your pauses, your gestures, they must be exact. The foolish man waves his arms, stumbles over his own energy, performs emotions he has not mastered. The powerful man moves slowly, but not lazily. His gestures are efficient, like the swing of a blade. His hand does not rise unless it is to command, to dismiss, to end. When you enter a room, your movement must already say, "I am not here to be accepted. I am here to be remembered." Your entrance should be silent, but noticed. Not theatrical, inevitable. People should feel something shift when you cross the threshold, and they will. Because most people are noisy even in their stillness. You, however, will be still even in motion, and when you sit, do not collapse. Lower yourself like a man choosing a throne. When you cross your legs, do it with intention. When you rest your hands, do it with precision. A powerful man does not melt into a chair. He occupies it as if it were made for him. He doesn't ask, through movement, for permission. He claims his place. Your walk through a hallway, your posture at a table, the way you tilt your head when someone speaks. These are all declarations of rank. You must decide what message they send: indifference, control, calculation. Never let them say you looked anxious. Never let them say you moved like prey. Those who understand this never try to prove their strength. They dress like a verdict, not a question. They move like a secret weapon, not a spectacle. The world respects what it cannot easily read, and it fears what it cannot easily stop. To move with ruthless intent means you've removed accident from your presence. It means nothing about you is casual, even if it appears effortless. It means your choices are sharper than any sword. Your jacket, your boots, your silence, your stillness, these are your allies. They go before you. They speak in places where your mouth never opens, and in a room full of noise, they make the world lean in and listen. They will tell you power is found in words, that to be respected, you must speak more, explain more, reveal more. But those who rule, truly rule, know better. Power is not declared. It is perceived. It does not scream. It whispers in the silence, in the stillness, in the unseen command of presence. When you master the silent language of authority, the world begins to respond before you even move. When you control the space you occupy, others instinctively adjust themselves around you. When you harness the power of strategic silence, your enemies are disarmed by their own uncertainty. And when you dress and move with ruthless intent, you no longer walk through the world unnoticed. You pass through it like a shadow with weight. You do not need to explain who you are. You only need to become the kind of man whose presence answers every question before it's asked. Fear is not born from noise. Respect is not won through argument. They are both commanded in silence, by the one who dares to remain unreadable, untouchable, undeniable.